the Shredder!
Hello guys, and welcome back to yet another marvelous video. In today's video, we're gonna travel back in time and take you to the 2012 TMNT animated series. The Ninja Turtles have faced many villains over the years, but there has not been anyone like him. Kavaxas is a creature who has the power to cause mass destruction and can trick anyone very easily. He's so powerful that even Super Shredder is nothing compared to him. But who exactly is he and where did he come from? We're gonna take a look at that and much more in this video. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. Now let's dive right in.
Watch as the world...
Who is Kavaxas? In the universe of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kavaxas appeared as the main antagonist for the first time in Season 5 of the 2012 series during the Cult of Shredder arc. He's famously also known as Hothead due to his powers. His character was created by Ciro Nieli and Brandon Auman, who were the executive producers of the animated series. Now, let us jog your memory and remind you of a realm known as the Netherworld. This place is a dimension that we normal human beings cannot visit. It's inhabited by the dead and other spirit-like creatures. You could say that the concept behind it is similar to our idea of hell. So just like hell, Netherworld also has a ruler. That guy is our super powerful villain, Kavaxas. He comes from a race of demonic dragon-like humanoid creatures known as Demodragons. He's also the lord of this race, as the Demodragons exist in the Netherworld. When you look at one of them, trust me, you'll be terrified by how ginormous and strong they look. In the 2012 animated series, Kavaxas' character is voiced by the incredibly talented actor Mark Hamill, who you might remember as the Joker, Solomon Grundy, and even Ferris Boyle from the DC animated universe. One of his more famous and appreciated roles is Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars franchise. He perfectly embodies the sheer wrath and dominating presence of Kavaxas when he's on screen. Kavaxas is not an enemy that you'd want to take lightly, because one of his deepest desires is to take over all the 10 dimensions and become the ultimate ruler. He wishes to put an end to all of humanity by unleashing his demonic army of Demodragons and other followers. Since he is a demon and the lord of the others of his kind, he obviously seeks chaos and devastation wherever he goes. In fact, he's also quite smart as a Demodragon, since he has an understanding of what is right and wrong. That's one of the reasons why he thinks that he's more important and above all mortal life on Earth. Since he's a leader, he also hates when someone tries to order him around. We get to see a glimpse of this when he appears in Season 5. Kavaxas is also known as Dragon Dude or Dragon Man, but these nicknames clearly don't do justice in conveying the true extent of his powers. Role of Kavaxas in the TMNT lore. We see Kavaxas for the first time in the first episode of the 5th and final season of the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, titled Scroll of the Demodragon. At this point in the story, Super Shredder, a longtime enemy of the Ninja Turtles, has finally been killed by them. At the beginning of this episode, we meet Tiger Claw, a deadly bounty hunter and an assassin who has been a loyal follower of Super Shredder and the second in command of the Foot Clan. Along with some other followers of Super Shredder, Tiger Claw flies to New York City to find a way to take revenge on the Turtles. Upon arriving in the city, they come across a secret hidden underground shrine that has been made in honor of Super Shredder by the Foot Cultists, a species of humanoids who were created from the mutagenic blood of Super Shredder. Now, since Tiger Claw was the second in command, he now declares himself as the leader of the Foot Clan and the Shredder cult that has recently been discovered. He calls himself their Crimson Leader. Well, if there's one character who has a flair for the dramatic, then it's definitely Tiger Claw. Through the Foot Cultists, he learns of a demonic being who has the powers of resurrection. However, a few things are required to successfully summon this creature. The first item is an ancient talisman known as the Mystic Seal of the Ancients, and the other item is an ancient scroll known as the Scroll of the Demodragon. Tiger Claw will be able to summon the Lord of the Netherworld and the Demodragons, Kavaxas, using these mystical items. Before Tiger Claw and the other followers can proceed with the summoning, they're paid a visit by Casey Jones, April O'Neil, and everyone's favorite Ninja Turtles. But they're quickly overpowered by the Foot Clan and get captured. Tiger Claw then begins to read the chant mentioned in the Scroll of the Demodragon and appears before us. For the first time, straight from the Netherworld, the Demodragon Kavaxas. The air in the shrine immediately changes with his demonic presence. Tiger Claw doesn't even get a chance to speak to him, since Kavaxas is visibly angry because he was summoned by a mortal being. And we already know how much he hates the mortals. So out of sheer rage, he attacks Tiger Claw using his fire breath. But Tiger Claw is able to save himself using the Mystic Seal. You see, this ancient amulet can be used to tame Kavaxas. Whoever possesses the Mystic Seal can give him orders, and he will be forced to follow them. Surprisingly, when Kavaxas sees that Tiger Claw has the seal, he's quite impressed with him and tells him that he's wiser than he thought. Now, in order to get rid of them, Tiger Claw first orders Kavaxas to kill April, Casey, and the Turtles. From the get-go, Kavaxas seems to have the upper hand during the fight. Leonardo tried to kill him with his swords, but Kavaxas' skin was so hard and impenetrable that his swords literally broke in half. Then April tried to use her psychic powers on him, but neither is he human nor is he from Earth, so her powers caused absolutely no damage to him. After his defense, Kavaxas decided to stir the fight and start attacking. He was just about to kill Leonardo when Michelangelo threw a smoke bomb and they all escaped. Kavaxas was about to go after them, but Tiger Claw once again used the seal to command him to stop and never get out of his sight. This fight between the Demon Dragon and the Ninja Turtles was so fierce that Michelangelo confessed that Kavaxas appears to be much stronger than the Super Shredder. This is proof that the Turtles have now gained a deadlier enemy. Back at the shrine, Tiger Claw gets a confirmation that Kavaxas indeed has the power to bring Super Shredder back from the dead, which is the only thing that Tiger Claw wants. Before reviving Super Shredder, in the episode titled The Forgotten Swordsman, Kavaxas is ordered to revive another person. Fishface, one of the members of the Foot Clan, retrieves the body of Razar, who is one of the Shredder's top underlings and a reputed martial artist. When he was confronted by the Turtles, Leatherhead, who is their ally, killed him. So, with the help of his body, Kavaxas performs his necromancy ritual and is able to bring him back from the dead. This is also proof for us that he can actually bring the Shredder back, and that his power knows no bounds. But before he could do that, we find out that there's a slight hiccup in the process. Before he can revive him, apparently, he needs Super Shredder's heart since it contains his soul, and an ancient relic known as the Kurokabuto. This item is the symbol of the Foot Clan, and contains the Shredder's mental energy. So, in order to retrieve the Kurokabuto, Kavaxas goes to the old hideout of the Shredder with Tiger Claw and Razar. When they encounter the Ninja Turtles, he uses his fire-breathing technique to try and kill them, but April saves the day by blocking his attack using her psychic powers. Now that the Kurokabuto is with them, they head out to get the Shredder's heart, which is in the possession of Don Vizioso, an Italian mob boss. He kept Super Shredder's heart with him because he planned on eating it to gain the Shredder's powers. But before he can do that, he's attacked by the Foot Clan. Kavaxas and Tiger Claw were just about to get their hands on the heart when the Ninja Turtles showed up. They were able to steal the Seal of the Ancients, and April tried to use it to control Kavaxas, but she failed since she wasn't as powerful as Tiger Claw. Eventually, the Foot Clan members managed to escape, and Tiger Claw was able to snatch away the Mystic Seal. Before leaving, Kavaxas used his laser blast to knock out Leo and Donnie, and steal Super Shredder's heart. Now, this is when things get even more interesting, because they finally have everything they need to bring back the Shredder. The fourth episode, titled End Times, is the last episode where we get to see Kavaxas. In this episode, Shredder has been successfully revived, but there's a secret that Kavaxas has kept from the others. Ever since he was summoned, his sole purpose has been to take control of the Earth by destroying all of humanity. Now the secret is that whoever he revives from the dead, using his powers, remain under his control. It's basically like Kavaxas is raising a dead army. Since he raised Razar and now Super Shredder, they're both under his control. He plans on using the Shredder to destroy the Mystic Seal, since that's the only thing holding him back. So he manages to give commands to the Shredder, and together they're able to tear apart the seal. Kavaxas is now free to do as he pleases. So he uses his powers to bring a lot of ghosts from the underworld and orders them to destroy anything and everything that stands before them. This act causes chaos and destruction everywhere, just like Kavaxas wanted. Soon the Ninja Turtles and their allies, including Casey, April, Leatherhead, Karai, and the ghost of Splinter, come together to fight these dark and demonic forces. They seem not to have a plan on how to get things under control, but they continue fighting. In the midst of all this turmoil, Mikey gets lucky when he sees the broken seal lying around. The light bulb in his brain clicks, and he decides to repair the torn seal using chewing gum. And what do you know? The guy succeeds, because when the Ninja Turtles use it against Kavaxas, it actually works. Mikey's able to get him under his control, so he commands him to stop his attack and send his minions back to the underworld. Kavaxas has no other option but to obey Mikey. Then they order him to return to the netherworld and take Razar and Super Shredder with him. With that, his journey on Earth comes to an end. After everything is over, the Ninja Turtles decide to burn and destroy the Mystic Seal, and throw its remains in the ocean to ensure that Kavaxas can never return or be summoned. Appearance, powers, and weaknesses of Kavaxas. Now, let's take a look at Kavaxas' appearance. Since he's a Demo Dragon, it means that he's a dragon-like humanoid, so half dragon and half human. Due to his dragon parts, he appears rather slender and tall. He also has scales, which are red-colored, with large bat-like wings that appear to be leathery. Apart from this, he also has a tail full of spikes, 4 long fingers, and 2 feet with a total of only 4 toes. He looks like a scary red dragon, and his eyes make him look even scarier, because they look like reptilian yellow eyes with black pupils that are slit from the center. When it comes to his powers, Kavaxas holds a wide array of them. Since his physiology is that of a Demodragon from the Netherworld, his powers are obviously different compared to the earthly bound villains that we've seen in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe. We already know that the Ninja Turtles think that he's way more powerful than Super Shredder, and by the time we reach the 4th episode, it becomes obvious just how much destruction he can cause. Even though Kavaxas looks like he's very thin, he still possesses superhuman physical strength like no other villain that the Ninja Turtles have faced. There have been times when he's fought April, Casey, and the Turtles all at the same time. In the 1st episode, we realize that he's invulnerable. His first fight against the Ninja Turtles led to the destruction of Leonardo's sword. Now imagine he didn't even have to do anything to break them. They broke just upon touching him. This clearly means that it will not be possible to kill him using weapons that are made on Earth. Since he's a Demodragon, he can also use his wings to fly, and his flight speed is way higher than that of regular airplanes. Apart from this, he also possesses the ability of pyrokinesis. After all, he is half dragon. When he breathes fire out of his mouth, it appears like streams of green flames that can cause wide-scale destruction. In fact, he can also shoot balls of fire from the palm of his hand. And if that wasn't enough, he can also make his green flames travel through an object while he's holding one end and his enemy is holding the other. We get to see this when Mikey tries to trap his arms using the nunchucks. His entire hand is quite useful because, apart from the fireballs, he can use his fingertips to shoot laser blasts, which also appear green. A theory about his laser blasts is that they look very similar to the blades of lightsabers that Luke Skywalker uses in the Star Wars universe. It's highly possible that this was done on purpose by the executive producers of the show, because Kavaxas is voiced by Mark Hamill. Apart from this, some of his other abilities are immunity to psychic and telekinetic attacks. We saw this when April first attacked him and tried to use her psychic powers on him, but it didn't work. This is because he's not from our world, so he's immune to them, just like Leonardo's swords. Another pretty cool power that he has was shown in the episode titled The Forgotten Swordsman. In this episode, Kavaxas was able to kill a person by sucking out their soul. This means that he has the power of soul absorption, which means he can literally steal and absorb a person's soul upon touching them. As a result, the person dies because their soul is no longer attached to their body. Later in the episodes, Kavaxas also revealed another power that we haven't seen yet. When he captured April, he mentioned that if he eats a person whole, he ends up absorbing whatever powers they possess. Apart from these, the most important power that makes Kavaxas the ruler and leader of the Netherworld and the Demodragons is the ability to resurrect the dead. We saw this twice in the 2012 series, once when he brought Rahzar back to life, and another time with Super Shredder. However, there is one drawback to this power. If you wanted to resurrect someone who had been dismembered and parts of their body were missing, then Kavaxas would not be able to help you. This is because he can only revive someone whose body is intact. When he had to revive Super Shredder, he told Tiger Claw that it was impossible unless they found the missing parts, like his helmet and heart. The ability that makes his power of resurrection even more special is the fact that he gets to control the people he resurrects. We saw this when he was able to make Rahzar and Super Shredder do his bidding. Now that we know all about his powers, it's time to take a look at what are some of the things that make him weak. Well, the most powerful object of all is the Mystic Seal of the Ancients. When summoned, Kavaxas is bound to obey the orders of whoever controls this amulet. However, if the amulet is destroyed when he's still on Earth, then he gets to do whatever he wants without having to answer to a master. This Mystic Seal also has powers of its own, since it can also act as a shield for the holder to protect them from Kavaxas' fire blasts by creating a protective barrier around them. Every time he was given a command using the seal, he was forced to follow it. The only time he actually had any free will under the power of the seal was when he resurrected the dead beings. He can make them do whatever he wants, even if he himself is being controlled by the seal. It's also very easy to trick Kavaxas by throwing a smokescreen in front of him, as it blinds him for a little while, so that gives his enemies a good chance to run for their lives. The last important object that can cause some damage to Kavaxas is the Spectral Blasters. They were created solely for the purpose of attacking creatures who are from a different dimension, but the Spectral Blasters are not that powerful since they don't cause any long-lasting damage to him. Marvelous verdict. Alright guys, that's a wrap on another marvelous video. When it comes to TMNT villains, Kavaxas definitely stands out, not just because of his insane design, but also because of how ridiculously powerful he is. From the moment he's summoned, he brings this intense presence that just screams danger. Honestly, props to the creators for giving us such an epic villain who can take on the entire Ninja Turtle squad without breaking a sweat. So what do you think about Kavaxas? Any of his powers that blew your mind? What's your favorite thing about him? Do you wish we got to see more of his battles? And is there anything else from the TMNT universe you'd love for us to cover? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It seriously helps us out more than you know. Until next time, take care and stay awesome.
Get him!